You believe honesty makes you strong, it marks you as harvestable. The elite survive by amputating this instinct before loyalty, conscience, and mercy expose them. You are taught to see the world as a system of rules. Effort equals reward. Honesty earns trust. Loyalty builds security. That lens was installed early, reinforced daily, and protected aggressively. Not because it's true, but because it keeps you predictable. Selection doesn't care about your ethics, it never has. Selection observes outcomes only. Who remains, who advances, who is eliminated quietly. The elite understand this because they stopped moralizing the environment. You still haven't. Look closely at any hierarchy, corporate, political, social, historical. Power does not rise from virtue. It rises from adaptation, from those willing to violate internal programming when conditions demand it. The system rewards those who can switch lenses without hesitation. Most people cannot. You were trained not to. Your current lens assumes visibility is safety. That being known, understood, and emotionally legible protects you. In reality, legibility is vulnerability. In nature, the animal that broadcasts intention gets hunted first. Silence survives. Opacity advances. Selection works by pressure, not permission. It applies stress and observes response. Do you freeze? Do you over-explain? Do you moralize your disadvantage instead of correcting it? Those reactions are data points. The world reads you constantly. You think you're being evaluated on performance. You're being evaluated on exposure. The elite do not see society as a moral arena. They see it as a filtering mechanism. Inputs go in, outputs come out. Most are filtered downward. A few move laterally. Fewer still rise, not because they are better, but because they leak less. Your mistake is believing intent matters. Selection ignores intent. It only tracks signals, what you reveal emotionally, what you defend verbally, what you refuse to conceal. These signals tell others exactly how to position themselves against you. This is why good people are often used. Not because goodness is wrong, but because it is loud, predictable, easy to map. Once mapped, it is controllable. Once controllable, it is disposable. The elite adopt a different lens early or are forced into it by loss. They stop asking, is this right? And start asking, is this survivable? That single shift changes behavior completely. Decisions become surgical. Relationships become conditional. Identity becomes modular. You've been conditioned to believe this lens is evil. That's the final safeguard of the system. If you reject the lens, you never access the rules. If you never access the rules, you remain inside the game as a piece, not a player. Selection favors those who understand asymmetry, who know that appearing strong is different from being untouchable, who grasp that morality is a luxury afforded by position, not a strategy for reaching it. This chapter isn't asking you to abandon ethics. It's forcing you to see when ethics are used against you, when your transparency becomes a handle, when your consistency becomes a cage. Once you see the lens clearly, you can't unsee it. Every interaction becomes diagnostic. Every social exchange reveals who understands selection and who is still playing pretend. From this point forward, comfort is gone. You are no longer allowed to believe the world is fair, only functional, and function decides who remains. Every system has a leak. Not a flaw, an outlet. In human psychology, that outlet is the trait you were told makes you real. It's the instinct to reveal yourself under pressure, to clarify, to justify, to be understood. This is the deadliest trait the unshakable elite suppress: emotional legibility. When stress enters the system, most people externalize. Their thoughts spill, their motives surface, their boundaries announce themselves. This isn't honesty, it's pressure release. And pressure release is traceable. The elite do the opposite. Under pressure, they compress. They reduce output. They become harder to read, not easier. This is not discipline. It is survival instinct trained into silence. Exposure doesn't happen because you talk too much. It happens because you need to be seen correctly. That need is the mechanism. The moment you seek validation, alignment, or fairness, you emit signal. Signal tells others where leverage exists. Watch carefully. When challenged, do you explain your intentions? When accused, do you defend your character? When misunderstood, do you rush to correct the narrative? Each response feels reasonable. Each one is a leak. Predators don't need your secrets. They only need your reactions. Reaction reveals priority. Priority reveals weakness. Weakness defines strategy. The elite understand this chain. That's why they never rush to be known. They let others project. They let assumptions hang unanswered. They allow false interpretations to circulate if those interpretations reduce pressure. You were taught the opposite, that clarity builds trust. But trust is not a neutral currency. It's a positioning tool. The one who trusts first exposes first. The one who exposes first loses optionality. Emotional legibility also creates timing vulnerability. Once others know what you care about, they control the clock. Delay hurts you more than them. Silence becomes torture. You move early. They wait. This is why the elite appear calm under attack. Not because they are unaffected, but because they've amputated the reflex to signal distress. Their internal state is irrelevant. What matters is what the environment can prove. Understand this clearly. You don't lose power when someone disagrees with you. You lose power when they understand you too well. Most men collapse here. They confuse concealment with dishonesty. They moralize exposure. They believe hiding is cowardice. This belief was installed deliberately. A visible population is a manageable population. The elite don't hide everything. They hide selectively. They curate what is knowable. They decide which signals serve positioning and which create liability. You, on the other hand, were trained to externalize by default, to process out loud, to resolve tension through explanation. That habit makes you readable and therefore rankable. Selection punishes the readable. Once this mechanism is understood, behavior shifts automatically. You stop reacting to provocation. You stop clarifying under pressure. You let silence do the destabilizing. You allow others to reveal themselves first. This is not manipulation. It's counter-extraction. It's closing the leak. And once the leak is sealed, the hierarchy treats you differently. Not because you demand respect, but because you no longer supply data for free. The unshakable elite are not fearless. They are unexposed. That is the difference. Every hierarchy sorts men into roles long before outcomes are decided. Not by skill, not by intelligence, by visibility. Who can be read gets managed. Who cannot gets respected or feared. There are two dominant archetypes operating in every system. One is cultivated, the other is selected. The visible archetype is trained, rewarded, and eventually consumed. He is expressive, principled, predictable. His values are stable and publicly reinforced. He signals alignment early and often. This makes him useful. He speaks when challenged, explains when questioned, clarifies when misread. He believes consistency equals integrity. In reality, it equals traceability. His internal compass is on display. Anyone watching knows exactly where pressure will break him. The system loves this archetype. He stabilizes environments. He absorbs risk. He enforces norms. When collapse comes, he is the first offered up because he is easy to justify and impossible to defend. Then there is the invisible archetype. He is not quiet because he is timid. He is quiet because he is untraceable. His values are not absent. They are compartmentalized. He reveals nothing unless it produces leverage. He does not correct false narratives unless they threaten position. Where the visible man reacts, the invisible man observes. Where the visible man explains, the invisible man measures. Where the visible man seeks resolution, the invisible man seeks advantage. This archetype is not taught. It is filtered into existence by consequence. Loss, betrayal, replacement. Men become invisible when visibility costs them something they cannot recover. History selects this archetype repeatedly. Advisors who outlast kings, generals who survive purges, operators who move between regimes unchanged. They are rarely celebrated, they are retained. The visible man believes being known builds safety. The invisible man knows being needed does. This distinction shapes behavior under stress. When pressure rises, the visible archetype leaks faster. He appeals to fairness, to precedent, to character. Each appeal exposes dependency. The invisible archetype compresses. He narrows output. He withholds reaction. Others grow uncertain. Uncertainty shifts leverage. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Most men are visible by design. Their upbringing, education, and incentives reward expressiveness. Silence is punished early. Opacity is labeled antisocial. This produces compliance at scale. The elite select the invisible because invisibility disrupts control. You cannot manage what you cannot map. You cannot predict what does not signal. This is why invisible men are often described as hard to read, intimidating, or cold. These labels are defensive. They mask discomfort. The system senses a peace it cannot sort. The archetypes are not moral categories. They are survival outcomes. One is sustainable only inside protection. The other survives regardless of it. Right now, you occupy one of these roles, and the system already knows which. The shift is not cosmetic. You don't become invisible by saying less alone. You become invisible by no longer needing to be perceived correctly, by letting misinterpretation exist without urgency. Once you cross that threshold, interactions change. People slow down around you. They probe more carefully. They hesitate to test. That hesitation is power. In the next chapter, you'll see why history consistently eliminates the visible, and why sincerity across time has been one of the most punished traits in male hierarchies. History does not remember the sincere kindly. It uses them as examples. Every era repeats the same pattern. Men who reveal intentions early are removed early, not because they were wrong, but because they were readable. Transparency invites preemption. Once motives are known, opposition doesn't wait. Look at courts, empires, revolutions. Advisors who spoke openly were replaced by those who spoke selectively. Generals who declared loyalty publicly were neutralized by those who kept allegiance ambiguous. Transparency was never rewarded with survival. It was rewarded with martyrdom. Human nature has not evolved past this. When someone knows what you want, they can block it. When they know what you fear, they can threaten it. When they know what you value, they can corrupt it. This is why openness feels virtuous but performs poorly under pressure. It assumes mutual restraint. History assumes asymmetry. The transparent man believes clarity prevents conflict. In reality, it accelerates it. Clear positions create targets. Vague positions create hesitation. Hesitation buys time. Time creates leverage. Every purge begins with identification. Every takeover starts with mapping. Who thinks what? Who stands where? Who will resist? Those who declare themselves are removed first. Those who remain silent are evaluated last. Transparency also collapses optionality. Once you are known, your future paths narrow. You must remain consistent or be attacked for contradiction. This locks you into a predictable trajectory, one others can plan around. The elite avoid this trap by delaying definition. They do not announce alignment until alignment is irreversible. They do not declare values until values are rewarded. They let others commit first. Transparency creates moral satisfaction, not strategic safety. That distinction matters only when stakes rise, and stakes always rise eventually. Even in modern systems, corporations, politics, social hierarchies, the same rules apply. Whistleblowers are praised rhetorically and destroyed practically. Loyal performers are celebrated until they become liabilities. The visible are consumed when convenient. History punishes transparency because transparency removes ambiguity, and ambiguity is protection. This is why revolutions devour their idealists, why institutions discard their most honest members, why movements quietly sideline their founders once structure replaces vision. The transparent man believes truth will shield him. History shows truth attracts attention. Attention attracts control. The elite study this pattern early or learn it painfully. They stop performing sincerity. They stop narrating motives. They allow their actions to be interpreted, not explained. This doesn't mean lying constantly. It means refusing to offer clarity without return. Meaning is a currency. The elite don't spend it freely. Understand this. History is not cruel, it is efficient. It removes what can be predicted. Transparency is prediction. Once you internalize this, you stop chasing moral approval. You stop assuming fairness. You stop expecting recognition to equal protection. You begin to move like history rewards, not like it praises. And that is when you stop being selected against. The next chapter will show how to amputate this reflex strategically, without self-destruction, without exposure, and without turning yourself into a liability disguised as strength. Weakness is not what you feel, it's what you express under pressure. The elite do not eliminate emotion. They eliminate uncontrolled emission. This chapter is not about becoming numb. It's about removing the reflex that gives others leverage before you even realize a contest has begun. Your first amputation is explanatory instinct. When challenged, do not clarify. When accused, do not defend immediately. When misunderstood, do not rush to correct. These impulses feel rational because they were trained as social hygiene. In power environments, they are leaks. Every explanation reveals motive. Every defense confirms importance. Every correction exposes dependency on perception. Instead, delay. Delay is not avoidance. It is a strategic pause that forces the other side to move first. Silence creates vacuum. Vacuum makes people fill gaps with assumptions, often revealing their own intent. The elite master response asymmetry. They respond slower than expected, shorter than required, later than comfortable. This disrupts emotional tempo. Whoever controls tempo controls frame. Second amputation, moral reflex. You were trained to justify behavior ethically even when ethics are irrelevant to the outcome. Stop. In high-stakes environments, morality is post-rationalized by winners. During conflict, it is used as a trap. When you explain why you're right, you expose what you won't cross. That line becomes your boundary. Boundaries are handles. The elite act first, explain later if at all. They let results retroactively legitimize behavior. This is not cruelty, it is realism. Third amputation, emotional mirroring. Most men unconsciously match the emotional energy of whoever confronts them. Anger meets anger. Anxiety meets reassurance. This creates symmetry. Symmetry equalizes power. Break symmetry. If someone escalates, flatten. If someone provokes, slow. If someone pressures, narrow. The goal is not dominance through force. It's dominance through control of emotional bandwidth. You decide how much energy enters the exchange. That decision alone shifts hierarchy. Fourth amputation, disclosure as bonding. You were taught vulnerability builds trust. In controlled environments, it does. In competitive ones, it creates files. Do not reveal struggle to those who do not already need you. Do not confess uncertainty to those who benefit from it. Do not trade intimacy for belonging. The elite bond through alignment, not confession. They share objectives, not insecurities. They test loyalty with outcomes, not empathy. This is where most men fail. They amputate behavior but not identity. They act reserved while still craving understanding. That craving leaks. True amputation requires internal severance. You must stop needing to be validated by those who hold leverage over you. Until that need dies, concealment will feel like strain. Finally, selective opacity. Opacity does not mean saying nothing. It means saying only what advances position. Neutral statements, non-answers, deferrals, conditional disclosures. You speak in fragments, others assemble meaning. If the meaning benefits you, let it stand. If it harms you, correct it surgically without explanation. This is not a personality shift, it's an operating system upgrade. Once these amputations are in place, something changes quietly. People stop pushing as hard. They sense resistance without friction. They feel they cannot extract cleanly. That sensation is respect without admiration. In the final chapter, we complete the transformation. The old identity cannot coexist with this behavior. One must die for the other to function. You cannot carry this operating system inside the old identity. It will reject it. The habits, beliefs, and emotional rewards you were conditioned to seek are incompatible with concealment. One will sabotage the other. So the old identity must die. Not publicly, not ceremonially, internally. Your former self was built for inclusion, approval, moral coherence. He wanted to be understood, appreciated, and placed correctly within the group. That version of you relied on feedback to stabilize identity. This version cannot survive in competitive reality. The new identity does not ask, "How am I being seen?" It asks, "What am I enabling?" That shift alone dismantles ego-based behavior. You stop reacting to tone. You stop correcting misinterpretation. You stop defending consistency. You measure outcomes instead. Identity death begins with emotional decoupling from perception. Praise becomes noise. Criticism becomes data. Neither alters direction. This is not confidence. It is detachment from audience. Most men never achieve this because they still want to be liked by those they compete with. That desire corrupts every decision. It creates hesitation. It invites compromise before leverage is secured. The reconstructed identity is quieter, not because it is afraid, but because it no longer needs witnesses. You stop narrating your process. You stop explaining your past. You stop advertising intention. Your inner world becomes private territory. Entry is earned, not granted. This identity also reframes loss. Setbacks are no longer personal failures, they are information. Information about exposure, about timing, about miscalculation. You adjust silently. No confession, no justification. Emotion still exists, but it no longer dictates output. Anger is converted into patience. Anxiety into planning. Desire into positioning. Nothing leaks raw. This is where most transformations fail. Men try to add power behaviors without subtracting identity attachments. The result is inconsistency, slips, overcorrections, performative coldness. True reconstruction is subtraction. You remove the need to be seen as good. You remove the urge to be recognized as loyal. You remove the impulse to be transparent. What remains is not cruelty, it is sovereignty. The elite do not feel superior. They feel insulated. Their identity is not porous. It does not absorb judgment easily. That insulation allows long-term strategy in environments designed to provoke reaction. Once this identity stabilizes, something final occurs. People project onto you. They fill the silence with assumptions. Some see threat. Some see authority. Some see nothing. All of those outcomes are preferable to being fully known. At this stage, you are no longer optimized for approval. You are optimized for endurance. There is one final boundary to draw, one warning that separates those who can carry this doctrine from those who will self-destruct attempting it. This doctrine is not safe for everyone. That is not arrogance, it is containment. Once you sever the need to be understood, you cannot return to the comfort of openness without cost. Relationships will thin. Conversations will feel slower. People will test you more carefully or avoid you entirely. This is not a phase. It is a permanent shift in how you are categorized. Most men should not adopt this fully. They lack the discipline to control what replaces exposure. They confuse silence with suppression, concealment with emptiness. Without internal structure, opacity collapses into isolation, or worse, reckless cruelty disguised as strength. The elite avoid this because they build internal law before external silence. They know exactly what they serve, even if they never say it. Without that anchor, concealment rots from the inside. This is the final warning. Do not use this doctrine to escape accountability. Do not use it to justify impulsiveness. Do not use it to dominate those who pose no threat. Power without containment burns its carrier first. True sovereignty is selective application. You do not conceal everywhere. You conceal where extraction exists. You do not withdraw from all bonds. You choose alliances where leverage is mutual and disclosure is earned. Those who misuse this become unstable, paranoid, disconnected from reality. The system removes them eventually, not because they are dangerous, but because they are sloppy. The elite survive because they are precise. If you carry this doctrine correctly, you will notice something subtle. Pressure decreases. Fewer confrontations. Less need to explain. Others adjust before you speak. This is not intimidation. It is recognition of boundary. At that point, there is nothing to announce. No creed to declare. No audience to convert. You will know whether this path is for you by a single reaction. Relief, not excitement. Relief that you no longer need to perform sincerity. Relief that silence can finally be neutral. Relief that being unreadable is no longer shameful. If that relief does not appear, discard this immediately. It will hollow you out. This knowledge is not meant to spread. It is meant to select, and selection has already begun. Nothing you've heard here asks you to act loudly. Nothing asks you to announce change. Nothing demands performance. That's intentional. Power doesn't end with a declaration. It ends with withdrawal from noise, from explanation, from the need to be witnessed. The moment you feel compelled to prove you've changed, you haven't. From here forward, the work is silent. You will notice pauses where you used to speak, restraint where you used to justify, distance where you once chased clarity. Let those gaps exist. They are not emptiness, they are insulation. Most people will never understand this shift. Some will feel unsettled around you. Others will test you harder, searching for the version of you they could read. Do not correct them. Do not reassure them. Let the absence do its work. This is not about domination. It is about non-extraction, about no longer being easy to map, easy to pressure, easy to position. If you've reached this point and feel uneasy, that's normal. Identity resists replacement. Old instincts fight to survive. Let them weaken. Do not rush to fill the silence they leave behind. What replaces them is not confidence, it is control. And control doesn't announce itself. It doesn't persuade, it doesn't explain, it simply remains. From here on, you don't need more information. You need fewer leaks, fewer reactions, fewer reasons to be understood. Carry that quietly. Nothing else needs to be said.